What if you could eliminate feeling lazy forever? Not just so you have more energy, but so your mind is naturally pulled towards taking action. So working towards your goals feels as easy as scrolling TikTok. Well, you can do that with the 60-second rule. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to explain how to master it. Feeling lazy is actually natural. You're not a lazy person. It's actually the opposite. Normally, when people are feeling lazy, it's because they have strong motivation to do something, but don't take action. So there's this feeling that you should be doing something, but you can't bring yourself to do it. You've probably felt that before. Having work that you know that you should be doing, but instead you're sitting down, watching some Netflix, and the more that you put off the work, the worse that you feel. But this isn't because you're a lazy person. All feeling lazy is having a gap between what you want to be doing and what you're currently doing, which causes this discomfort. And when you do it enough times, it starts to become a habit. But just like any habit, you can change the habit of feeling lazy and procrastinating. So why do people feel lazy in the first place? If you have motivation to do something, why does it feel so hard to take action? Well, because there's this imbalance between desire and pressure. So for example, I've been trying to get ahead on my taxes for months now. Taxes are obviously super important, right? Like I should not be putting them off, but I always end up just kind of procrastinating, putting them off, and then rushing everything last minute. And realistically, it wouldn't take me more than a couple afternoons of work to get it done. But when it comes to doing some random thing like opening my pool for the summer, I'm right on top of it. And there's probably a lot of people out there just like that put off something that they know they should be doing, but then they're right on top of some like random other activity. Getting ahead on my taxes is way more important than my pool. And they're both kind of boring. They both take about an afternoon to do. So why would I procrastinate on doing my taxes, but not procrastinate on opening my pool? Well, because there's a timeline on when I can use my pool. Realistically, I can only really use my pool for about 4 months out of the year because I live in Canada. Meanwhile, the deadline to submit my taxes isn't for months. And even if I miss that deadline, realistically, I'll have to pay an interest fee. But if I submit the payment ahead of time, I probably won't even have to pay that fee, so I could file that later. So when you have less pressure and less immediate reward, you'll take less action. Think about a student studying for an exam a month from now. There's no pressure to actually study and no immediate reward for another month or so, versus the immediate reward of chilling and watching some Netflix. So it's almost natural to procrastinate and feel comfortable in that situation. But here's the major issue with this. The things that tend to be the most valuable tend to be the things that don't give you immediate rewards. So you might not feel lazy when it comes to working a 9-to-5 job. You might show up every day on time and things like that, but you'll feel very lazy and procrastinate when it comes to working towards your dreams. So how do you fix this to cure your laziness? Well, the first thing that you need to do is identify what type of laziness or procrastination that you're experiencing, because what you need to do will be different depending on this. The first form is mental paralysis. This is where people feel stuck in place. You have a strong desire to take action, but can't bring yourself to get started. And the second version is pattern interruption. This is where you finally sit down to do some work, but then you check your phone, you open up your email, you take a phone call, and what's supposed to end up taking 30 minutes to do ends up taking 6 hours. Now, you might identify with one of these more strongly than the other. Maybe you struggle to get started, but once you get started, it's not a problem to finish something. Or maybe it's easier to sit down and start something, but it's hard to focus once you start to try to work. But most people like me are a combination of both. And this is exactly why the 60-second rule is broken up into 2 parts, which addresses each of these causes of feeling lazy and fixes them within a minute. But there's actually a hidden third form of laziness that everyone from the top athletes to the top business people in the world experience, but those people just found a way to overcome it. And it's the struggle phase. The struggle phase is the time between when you know that you should be taking action and when you're actually immersed in that action. So let's say that you're sitting back watching some YouTube and you know that after a video is done, you know that you should be getting up to clean your house, to study for a test, to work on your side business, whatever it is. The struggle phase starts when the video's finished and now it's time to actually take action, but you have that pull to not start, to just watch another video, and This can be the hardest part to overcome, but the struggle phase only lasts a few minutes. And if you actually get through it correctly, 80% of the time, you'll be able to focus and work effortlessly. So how can you conquer these two forms of laziness and overcome the struggle phase every time? Well, this is exactly what the 60-second rule does by making it easy to take action every time and then stay focused effortlessly once you start to take action. So here's the thing, you've probably been thinking about willpower and motivation all wrong. A few years ago, I read this book called The Willpower Instinct. This book right here, it explains everything to do with willpower and motivation. And there's a part in this book that just blew my mind. Basically, it says that willpower is like a muscle. The more that you work it out, the stronger it'll be. But the more that you use it, the more tired it'll become. So what does that mean? Well, it's to say that if something is very hard to do, it'll require a lot of willpower. But if something's very easy to do, it doesn't require much willpower at all. So you can picture it like being able to lift 200 pounds versus 10 pounds. 200 pounds is hard to lift, right? You can't lift it in any way without getting injured. You have to lift it in some specific ways. And if you can lift it at all, you probably can't do it for a lot of reps. Meanwhile, 10 pounds, you can lift pretty much all day, every day. So what does that mean for us? Well, if we make the things that we want to do easier, we'll be significantly more likely to do them. So much so that the entire concept of willpower or desire pretty much doesn't matter at all. The number one factor where somebody is considered to be a highly disciplined and motivated person versus somebody who's lazy and procrastinating is just access to temptation. The people who eat the healthiest just have healthy food in their home. People who go to the gym regularly normally just have a gym that's easy and convenient for them to access. So all you need to do is make the actions that you want to take 30 seconds easier to do and make the actions that you want to quit 30 seconds harder. So here's an example of what I mean. Let's say that you want to watch less TV and you want to read more. You could put a book on your nightstand or a coffee table, wherever your remote is currently, and then you could take the batteries out of your remote and put them across the house. This works so alarmingly well. It's actually so impactful. It is crazy. Here's an example. Past 3 weeks, I haven't used my phone before I've gone to bed and when I've woken up once. Not once, I slept great every single night. The literal only thing I did was move my phone into my office, 15-second walk away. Every time I wake up in the morning or something like that, I'm tired. I think about, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on my phone. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna walk 15 seconds. That's it. That's it. No more doom scrolling. Fix, cured, 15 seconds. I haven't used social media in the past 4 days. Still have accounts. All I did was just delete the app from my phone. It takes 30 seconds to re-download them, but I never actually care enough to actually download them. So I was basically just using social media because it was easy. And when I made it just a little bit harder to do, I don't do it. This is so powerful, right? Just after watching this video, just try it. Just try just 1 a week, just 30 seconds more effort, 30 seconds less effort, and watch how quickly you'll stop procrastinating. But the thing is, that is only half of the 60-second rule. The second half actually breaks through that struggle zone that we talked about. So the main reason why a person procrastinates is just because of discomfort. Procrastination basically just makes you feel good in any given moment. Rather than doing these scary tasks like taking action toward your dreams, which might fail, you could just chill instead. And then if you don't succeed, you didn't really try in the first place. And where people mostly go wrong with this is when they're trying to chase their dreams, they're focused on some big goal, which makes it even more scary, which makes you even less likely to take action. So the second half of the 60-second rule solves this. So taking action towards your dreams starts to feel like scrolling TikTok. How you do this is by creating very clear, very simple goals. Here's an example of what I mean. Most people's goals might be something like starting a multi-million-dollar business or starting some dropshipping store or something like that. With the 60-second rule, your goal will be to sit down at your computer with no distractions. That's it. That's literally the only goal. Then the next separate goal might be to open your laptop and Google the project that you want to work on. And the next goal would be to write a couple sentences and then build from there. Now, it sounds simple, but there's more to this to make it crazy effective at completely eliminating laziness. When you're creating these goals, they need to be so simple that you can complete them within 30 seconds. Then gradually, as you finish the first few simple goals, you can build up to bigger goals from there. The reason why you feel lazy is because of comfort, right? So what if you made something so easy to do, it starts to become more comfortable to take action versus be lazy. So let's say right now you had a strong desire to reach over and grab your phone, and your phone is within arm's reach. All you have to do is just reach over, grab it. There's almost never a time of day where you will feel so lazy that you won't reach over and grab that phone if you had the desire to do it. And what if you made working as easy as reaching over and grabbing your phone? Well, then almost every single time that you had a desire to work, you'd start to work the same way that you always reach over and grab your phone. And because the first half of the 60-second rule, you've made it very accessible to work, and the second half makes the action that you're trying to take very easy to do, taking action towards your goals can start to be so easy that it starts to be the lazy thing to do. See, the cure to laziness isn't having some massive amount of willpower or some hardcore discipline. It's just making the lazy decision become the productive decision, which can be so easy to do with the steps given in this video that you can implement this within 60 seconds to start to make feeling lazy impossible. So subscribe and don't hesitate. Don't just let this be another random motivational video that you watch. Actually implement this. It's 60 seconds, so you can do it. And I'm telling you, this will change your life.